Chapter 5, God's Role in Your Fate. The book is What is Destiny? Absolute Law of Karma by Shriram Sharma Acharya. Misfortune occurs in life in a particular order and according to a well defined process of divine justice. But people reconcile to the inevitability by believing in so called wrath of God, God's will, or natural woeful state of this world, etc. As a matter of fact, God neither creates any good fortune nor misfortune for anybody, nor does God desire to put anyone in distress. Neither is this world full of woes. A spider gets confined and entangled in its own self woven web. Similarly, man himself makes his mind vicious, undisciplined, corrupt, and sinful, and when the evil mind works to create a distressing situation, he weeps, wails, and blames others, including God. Hence, it should be clearly understood that the fruits of prarabdha are always received as unprecedented events. Example, unexpected death due to disease or accident, collapsing of a house, winning a jackpot, injury due to accident, accidental loss of limbs, or cessation of vital functions of body, etc. Para ends. God does not involve other beings directly in enforcing divine justice because the person enforcing divine punishment on behalf of God would create resentment against his own self, thus beginning a chain of counter reaction between himself and the person being punished. Moreover, the enforcer would have to be unnecessarily involved in the complex process of cause effect by committing undesired karmas and replacing their fruits. Here we may once again recapitulate the characteristics of Sanchit karmas and Prarabdha karmas. Sanchit karmas bear fruits only on coming across a suitable environment or otherwise get destroyed in a counter environment. One may create such counter environment by self purification, benevolent deeds, and sadhanas of soul realization. These can be much more easily be done with the guidance of an enlightened guru. Para ends. Prarabdha karmas invariably bear fruits, though it may take a period of several life cycles for materialization of the effects of Prarabdha karmas. Nothing can annul or prohibit these. Deeds carried out deliberately, intentionally, or with full involvement of mind, despite awareness in the present life, amount to the future Prarabdha karmas. The unexpected, sudden happenings are the fruits of Prarabdha karmas. It should be noted that any failure in the present life due to indolence cannot be attributed to the result of Prarabdha karmas. Unlike the Prarabdha karmas, the physical activities resulting the Kriyayamana karmas bear definite fruits within a short time. Para ends. Subheading. Misfortunes need not always be the results of misdeeds. For most of us, misfortunes are unwelcome. These are popularly believed to be the result of past sins and displeasure of God. However, this view is not fully correct. It is true that one of the reasons for adversities or sufferings without one's fault is past sins, but all failures, hardships, unfortunate or unhappy events do not necessarily have their roots in past misdeeds. It may appear paradoxical that at times misfortune also befall us because of the grace of God and accumulation of past virtues. Unhappiness may also be experienced while undergoing hardships in course of virtuous activities. When God shows his condescension towards an evolved soul and wants to emancipate that soul from all attachments and bondage of worldly life, he creates distressful situations in life. Such unhappy events jolt the individual out of his slumber and make him or her realize the futility of attachments to the worldly things. The stalk of grief in such cases serve as a divine wake-up call. Para ends. Our addiction to worldly attachments, infatuations, and passions is so strong and alluring that we cannot be easily de-addicted by a casual approach. There are fleeting moments of wisdom in life when one thinks that life is extremely valuable and must be used for achieving some lofty objective, but soon thereafter, attraction and delusive calls of the world drag him back to the erstwhile routine of animal like existence. Through misfortunes, God exerts a strong pull to extricate the devotees from the self created quagmire of ignorance and the illusions of this world. Mishaps shake us and wake us up from the slumber in ignorance and darkness. Unpleasant, heartbreaking happenings such as a near fatal accident or disease, death of an intimate friend or relative, sudden financial loss, humiliation, or treachery by a trusted friend, unexpected failures, etc., may sometimes occur to give a strong shock treatment so that one may correct the course of his life. Para ends. Sometimes the virtuous intrinsic tendencies and sublime impressions assimilated in the unconscious mind on account of our past karmas also produce unhappy events. Virtuous karmas also act as shields to ward off sinful temptations. They do not permit the sinful tendencies to dominate and offer stiff resistance. Many times, commitment of sin is foiled by some unforeseen obstacle. If a thief breaks his leg while going for theft, it should be taken as a consequence of his good karmas of past that saved him from committing a crime. Para ends. Those who work hard for expansion of moral values, upliftment of society, and meticulously follow their course of duty face stupendous problems, adversities, and lack of resources. They also have to face antagonism of people who find such activities detrimental to their vested interests. Besides, they are also tormented by selfish, dishonest, or unscrupulous people around in many ways. Persons treading the royal highway of righteousness have to face testing moments and hardships at each step. Misfortunes are like goldsmith furnace, in which the validity of past virtues and tolerance to hardships undertaken for virtuous deeds are tempered. After going through misfortunes, the character and the personality of an upright person becomes all the more strong and lustrous. Hence, while passing through an unfavorable period, do not be under the impression that you are a sinner and a wretched person deserving divine wrath. It could be that the distress is a blessing in disguise with hidden boons which are unable to foresee at the moment because of the lack of clear vision. Para ends. Innocent persons may be found suffering because of unfair ideologies or oppression by others. Anyone may become a victim of exploitation, suppression, and injustice. The exploiter has to face the consequences of his karmas in due course of time, but the sufferer should blindly accept such happenings as outcome of his prarabdha. A student has to face many hardships in the course of his education. A mother bears so many pains and difficulties while raising the child. Ascetics, social reformers, righteous persons undergo arduous hardships while working for reformation of the society and evolution of the human soul. Such voluntarily undertaken hardships, confrontations, and problems faced towards fulfillment of self-assumed responsibilities cannot be considered as consequences of past misdeeds. It would not be proper to regard every happy-go-lucky person as a virtuous person in his past life, or every sufferer as a sinner of his past birth. Such a conception would be unjustified and misleading. There is no reason for someone to have self-pity or feel remorseful on such a false premise. The course from karma to destiny depends upon countless interactive pathways of present and past lives of the self as well as others. It is therefore an occult and mysterious process known only to the omniscient Creator. We have to remain ever vigilant towards our duties and responsibilities and leave the rest to impartial supreme justice of God. Let us face the misfortunes and good fortunes of life with equanimity. God has made us responsible only for our duties as human beings. There could be many reasons for success, failure, and happiness, unhappiness. Only the Creator knows their purpose. Let us wisely make use of the freedom of karma to write our own future destiny. The Almighty has entrusted upon us and the surrender our expectations, desires, and self obsessed identity to Him. To sum up, the physical activities resulting the Kriya Yamana karmas bear definite fruits within a short time, while Sanchit karmas they bear fruits only on coming across a suitable environment or otherwise get destroyed in a counter environment by benevolent actions deeds, and self purification, which can be hastened by the guidance of an enlightened guru. Whereas prarabdha karmas invariably bear fruits, though it may take a period of several life cycles for materialization of the effects of prarabdha karmas. Moreover, misfortunes need not always be the results of misdeeds. But whenever unhappy events they happen, they jolt the individual out of his or her slumber and make him or her realize the futility of attachment to the worldly things. And thus, this shock of grief in such cases serve as a divine wake up call. Thank you. The chapter 5 ends. Thank you once again.